Dear colleagues, we continue our working day in Ukraine Crisis Media Center, and I give the floor to Ministry of Defense spokesperson Colonel Dmytro Gutsulyak. Good morning, dear guests. I'm glad to see you at our press conference. Military units and subunits of the armed forces of Ukraine participate in strategic command and staff exercise Rubish 2016 that are held on the overall territory of the country. Command and control bodies of strategic and operational level are involved in these maneuvers, as well as other branches, branches of the armed forces of Ukraine. During this training, command and control bodies strengthen their capability to command troops in repelling armed aggression, air defense with simultaneous planning of further actions, and use of strategic reserves. They will also practice large-scale will have large-scale practical training, such as tactical exercise with live fire redeployment on large distances, tactical tasks on repelling aerial attacks, and so on. In the framework of these exercises, first in the history of the armed forces of Ukraine, the servicemen launched a pontoon bridge across Dnipro near Kherson. 300 units of military equipment and over 500 servicemen of Pontoon Bridge Regiment participated in this exercise. Among them, there were pontooniers, reconnaissance divers, and professionals on radiological, chemical, and biological defense. The overall length of the Pontoon Bridge was 560 meters. Despite difficult weather conditions, pontooniers managed to built this bridge. The CBRN defense specialist created counter reconnaissance smoke screen. The head of the general headquarters and chief commander of the armed forces of Ukraine, General Muzhenko, said that the servicemen performed very well because instead of a standard 4 hours, they managed to launch the bridge in just 2 hours. Subunits of anti-aircraft defense forces trained to deploy Buk and C-300 missile systems on large fire positions and to prepare them for firing. Ukrainian Navy was represented in these practical exercises by 1,100 servicemen, nearly 10 ships, aircrafts of marine aviation, missile and artillery subunits, and engineer subunits. Navy servicemen practice long-distance marches. They have tactical and firing exercises during which they train to help to a ship in an emergency situation, to rescue personnel from water, as well as firefighting and interaction between rescue crews and combat crews and marine aviation during the rescue actions. Diving groups train to find and to tow out submerged objects in various ways using diving stations on special ships. Civic groups and information logistic groups in the framework of the strategic exercise delivered to the ATO zone over 6 tons of humanitarian cargo. For vulnerable social groups of Donetsk region, as well as servicemen who carry out their mission there. Today starts the next stage of Rubish exercise on training field Dmytro in Kiev region. There will be involved engineer troops and they will practice live fire exercise. International Peacekeeping and Security Center of Sagaidachny National Academy of Ground Forces took part in an exhibition of partnership training and education centers exhibition. The event was held in NATO headquarters in Brussels. During these events, the representatives shared their achievements and their capabilities for education and training. The International Peacekeepers Center has interested NATO members and partners with its unique capability to organize full-scale training on brigade level. The international partners got aware of changes in the organizational structure of the center, and in training programs they became more aligned with NATO standards and took into consideration ATO experience of the armed forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian officers had an opportunity to get aware of new tendencies in individual and collective training of servicemen and civil staff personnel in various armies of the world. Ministry of Defense budget allocations for medicine for year 2016 constitute nearly 257 million Ukrainian hryvnias. Since the beginning of this year, the Ministry of Defense received for this needs from the state budget 232 million hryvnias, and 162 million of them were spent on procurement of medicines. Medical stocks and emergency reserve stocks have demothballed and prepared for use 478 units of medical and sanitary equipment. 449 of them were already given to the army. As of today, 99 servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine who were wounded in the ATO are treated in the Ministry of Defense healthcare facilities. 24 of them are treated abroad, 10 of them in Bulgaria, 9 in Germany, 2 in the USA and in Hungary, and 1 in Latvia. 74 ATO participants undergo rehabilitation in rehabilitation resort facilities. Since the beginning of this year, 867 servicemen have underwent rehabilitation. Thank you for your attention. Dear colleagues, the next event will start in 10 minutes.